The stars outside the space station glowed like diamonds. The Galactic Peace Summit had finally begun. It was the first time in history that humans, Varkari, Drellans, and 12 other alien races were sitting at one table. Cameras floated above them, broadcasting the event to billions of people across the galaxy. The room was silent. Everyone waited for the main speaker, Ambassador Yalen Ren, the highest human diplomat and a symbol of hope. He stepped onto the silver stage in the center, wearing a clean white uniform with a golden Earth emblem on his chest. Yalen smiled politely. His voice was calm yet strong. "Today, we choose peace." The crowd clapped. Some aliens thumped, their hands on the table, their version of applause. Hope filled the air like warm sunlight. Even the Varkari warriors, known for their brutal strength and war history, nodded with respect. But in the back of the room, something moved. A Varkari soldier, tall and covered in dark green armor, stepped forward. His name was Korvax. He was supposed to be part of the honor guard. No one paid much attention to him. Not yet. Ambassador Yalen continued speaking. "We must forget the blood of the past and build a new future together." Suddenly Korvax took a sharp breath. His eyes glowed red for a second. He tightened his grip on something hidden inside his armor. A plasma blade. He began walking toward the center. Security did not stop him. He wore official Varkari colors. It looked normal. Then he ran faster than anyone expected. SHHHRRRK. The plasma blade extended with a high-pitched sound. It lit up the room with a blue glow. People screamed. Cameras zoomed in. Yalen turned. Too late. The blade pierced through the ambassador's side. Gasps echoed through the hall. Blood splattered on the smooth silver floor. Yalen fell, his eyes wide. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. Guards rushed forward. Korvax dropped the blade, raised his hands, and whispered something only Yalen heard. "Forgive me. This is the only way to save Earth." Then he dropped to his knees. Panic spread. Like fire, alarms blared. Varkari leaders shouted in their language, claiming this was not their command. Human guards aimed weapons. Everyone was confused, angry, terrified. Inside the chaos, medbots flew in and picked up Ambassador Yalen. His white uniform was now soaked in red. "Heartbeat is weak. Begin stasis." "Emergency surgery en route," one of the bots said. They carried him out quickly. Journalists screamed questions. Why did the Varkari attack? Is this the end of peace? Was this planned by Earth's enemies? In the middle of it all, Korvax sat silently on the floor, hands behind his head. He did not resist. His face showed no fear, only sadness. Hours later, in a secure prison cell deep beneath the summit station, Korvax sat on a metal bench. 2 red lights blinked above the door. His armor had been removed. Chains wrapped around his arms and legs. But he didn't move. Outside the cell, a group of human officers argued with Varkari commanders. This was an act of war. No, this was not ordered. He acted alone. He was your soldier. The truth was hidden. And someone wanted it to stay that way. Far above, on Earth, the news channels lit up. Ambassador Ren stabbed. Humanity under attack. Varkari soldier turns traitor. Is war coming? Millions of people watched the footage over and over. The blade, the blood, the fall. Everyone wanted answers. But the only person who could give them was locked up and silent. Meanwhile, inside the medical bay on the summit station, Ambassador Yalen lay inside a healing pod. Machines beeped softly. A hologram of his body floated above the pod, showing the damage. A deep stab near the stomach. Broken ribs, internal bleeding. Doctors whispered outside the room. He may not wake up. The blade burned the tissue. Even with stasis, he's dying slowly. We need to move him to Earth Medical Command. But before they could act, The pod lights blinked. Jalen's eyes fluttered just for a second, then closed again. Back in the prison block, a new figure arrived. A woman in a black uniform. She had sharp eyes and short brown hair. Rhea Moss, Galactic Intelligence Officer. She stood in front of the glass window of Korvax's cell. The alien looked at her but didn't speak. "Why did you attack?" She asked. No answer. "You had the perfect chance to kill him, but you didn't. Why?" Still silent. Rena stepped closer. "The ambassador is alive. Barely. And if he dies, we go to war." Finally, Korvax spoke. His voice was deep and strange, translated by a collar on his neck. "That was never my goal." "Then what was?" Korvax's red eyes stared at her. "There is a traitor among your own." Rena frowned. "What do you mean?" Korvax leaned forward, his voice cold and heavy. "Your ambassador was about to expose a plan. A secret that would end peace and doom Earth." "What secret?" "I cannot tell you. Not here. I need trust." Rena didn't blink. "You stabbed the most important human in the galaxy. Why should I trust you?" "Because," Korvax said slowly, "I saved his life." Rena left the prison wing with more questions than answers. She walked down a long hallway, her boots echoing softly. Her earpiece buzzed. "Officer Moss, return to command. The council is demanding answers." "On my way." Inside her mind, thoughts raced. What secret was the ambassador hiding? Why did this alien trained for war hold back? She didn't trust Korvax. Not yet, but something about his eyes. They didn't look like a killer's. Hours passed. Outside the summit station, warships moved into position. Human fleets armed their weapons. The Varkari ships raised shields. One wrong move, and the galaxy would burn. Inside a private chamber, Rena sat with her superior officer, General Haven. "You think this alien is telling the truth?" Haven asked. "I don't know. But he didn't kill Yalin. He could have. Maybe it was a warning. Or maybe he was trying to stop something worse." Haven frowned. "What could be worse than stabbing our ambassador?" Rena looked at a screen showing Earth cities glowing with life. Extinction. Late at night, Rena returned to the prison cell. Korvax was still there, unmoving. She stared at him. "You have one chance to speak. Tell me what's really going on." Korvax looked up. "There is something inside me. A memory fragment. Hidden. Locked." "A memory?" "Yes. Your ambassador knew. He helped place it there. He told me, if I fall, give them the truth." Rena's heart skipped. "How do I access it?" "You can't, but your machines can. You must take me to your data core." She hesitated. "If this was a trap, it could doom everything. But if it was real, you better not be lying." "I would die before I dishonor the mission." Rena nodded once. "I'll get clearance. If this is a trick, I'll put a bullet in your head myself." Korvax bowed slightly. "Understood." Back in the medical bay, Jalen's heart monitor beeped slowly. His fingers switched. A whisper escaped his lips. "Rena. Korvax. Trust." Then silence again. But the cameras had caught it, and far away, in a hidden room, someone watched the footage and deleted it. "He's waking up." "That's a problem." The prison doors slammed shut behind Rena Moss as she walked out of the cell block. Her mind was full of questions. Korvax, the alien soldier who stabbed Ambassador Yalin, claimed he was trying to protect Earth, not harm it. He said there was a traitor among the humans, but no one believed him. The galaxy wanted blood. Across the summit station, the Grand Court chamber prepared for the most important trial in recent history. Massive alien banners hung from the walls. A floating circle of chairs surrounded the courtroom. Each chair was for a representative from one of the 17 allied worlds. At the center of the room, a glass platform rose from the floor. This was where the prisoner would stand. No walls, no shields. Just silence, lights, and judgment. Billions watched the live broadcast. The accused, the Varkari commander said, is Korvax of Clan Shartal, soldier of the 7th Varkari Honor Guard. He is charged with attempted assassination, an act of war, and breaking the interstellar peace code. Korvax stood tall, even in chains. He did not flinch. His armor had been removed, but his presence was still strong. His red eyes glowed faintly. Rena watched from the gallery above. Her fingers tapped nervously on the rail. The human judge, Lady Senva, spoke first. Defendant Korvax, do you admit to the attack on Ambassador Yalin Ren? Korvax's voice was calm. Yes, I struck him. Gasps filled the room. Do you understand that this could lead to war? Yes. Then explain yourself, Senva said sharply. Why did you do it? Korvax looked at the judges from all 17 worlds. Because if I didn't, Earth would already be burning. Silence. A Drellin representative hissed. This is madness. The Korean judge, who looked like a floating jellyfish, blinked slowly. Explain how stabbing a human diplomat saves Earth. Korvax spoke firmly. The ambassador knew of a secret plot, a betrayal. Someone among the humans plans to start a war using a weapon hidden in deep space. I was sent to warn him, but others moved faster. I had no choice but to act. So your warning was a blade? I needed to delay the ambassador's speech. He was about to reveal something dangerous. If he had spoken that day, he would have been killed in a far worse way. I chose pain over death. The court whispered among themselves. It sounded unbelievable. Then the human military commander, General Haven, stood. Your story is weak. You expect us to believe the ambassador was working with you, a Varkari soldier? Korvax didn't blink. Yes. Haven laughed coldly. He was a human hero. He would never trust your kind. Rena spoke up from above. He did. Everyone turned. Ambassador Yalin mentioned Korvax in his private files. He even approved a secure channel to Varkari Command. I checked the records myself. Haven's smile faded. That's not possible. It's true, Rena said. And there's more. She stepped forward, holding a small glowing device. Korvax says there's a memory implant hidden in his neural spine, placed there by the ambassador himself. If we access it, we may find proof of the plot. Gasps again. The Korean judge floated slightly higher. Is this confirmed? Not yet, Rena said. But I've requested medical clearance to extract it. General Haven looked nervous now. You're letting a criminal rewrite history. This could be a trick. Or it could save billions of lives. Rena replied coldly. The court decided to delay final judgment. Korvax was not released, but he was moved to a higher security room in the science wing, where medical teams could scan his brain safely. The memory implant had to be checked, and soon. Later that night, Rena stood outside the sealed lab. Korvax lay on a metal table. Silver machines hovered over his back. Thin needles inserted themselves into his spine carefully. Rena watched. Through the glass window, her arms crossed. A technician spoke into her headset. We found something. It's old data. Hidden under encryption. Looks like it was placed there 2 weeks ago. Can you open it? Almost. Just a few more minutes. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Rena turned sharply. What was that? Power spike. Hold on. The technician frowned. Someone's trying to block the scan from inside the station. Shut everything down. Lock the lab. Alarms rang. A red light blinked across the ceiling. Security breach. Data corruption detected. But it was too late. The memory file began to melt, digital fire spreading across the screen. A virus had been planted. Rena watched as the data turned black, then vanished. No, we lost it, Korvax groaned weakly. They knew. They erased it. Back in her office, Reyna reviewed the camera logs. Only one person had access to the lab power systems during the time of the breach. She zoomed in. On the footage, General Haven. He had walked near the control room minutes before the power spike. Too close to be coincidence. "He's hiding something," she whispered. That same night on Earth, a secret council meeting was held underground. High-ranking humans sat around a long table. General Haven entered, angry. The alien's implant was real. "But I destroyed it. They're getting too close." A shadowed figure at the head of the table spoke softly. "You've done well. But it's not enough. The ambassador may wake soon. If he speaks, our plans fail. Then I'll make sure he doesn't speak." "No, too risky. We must move faster. Begin Phase 2. Phase 2? Yes. Activate Project Rebirth." Back on the summit station, Reyna visited Korvax again. He was weaker now. The implant extraction had drained him. "They destroyed the data," Reyna said. "You were right. Someone inside our ranks doesn't want the truth out." Korvax nodded slowly. "Then you must find another way." "How?" He looked at her with tired eyes. "Go to the dead moon. Arcos 9. That's where the project began. Your ambassador told me about it. If you find the old files, you'll find the weapon." "What weapon?" Korvax's voice dropped. "Low, a human-built machine. One powerful enough to destroy a planet. Hidden, waiting." Reyna felt a chill run through her. Why would Earth build such a thing? To end the war before it begins. To rule the galaxy. She stood up. "I'll find it. But if I do, what then?" Korvax looked straight at her. "Then you'll have to decide if you're loyal to your planet. Or the truth." Back in the medical bay, Ambassador Yalin stirred. His eyes opened for a second. His lips moved. A nurse leaned closer. "What is it, sir?" Yalin whispered one word, "Arcos," then slipped back into silence not far away, in a quiet part of the summit station. General Haven received a secret message on his comm. "Target moving toward Arcos 9. Send hunters." "The truth dies there." The ship hummed quietly as it moved through deep space. Inside the small scout vessel, Reyna Moss sat in the pilot's chair, eyes locked on the dark screen in front of her. She was alone. Behind her, the alien warrior Korvax rested on a steel bench, still recovering from the memory implant extraction. His armor had not been returned, but his eyes remained sharp at their destination. Arcos 9, a forgotten moon at the edge of the system. "We'll be there in 6 hours, Reyna said without looking back. Korvax didn't respond. He stared out the window into the darkness. "What exactly is on that moon?" she asked. "An old research base," he said. "Abandoned by humans. After the first border wars. Your ambassador believed the truth was buried there." Reyna frowned. "Why there? Why not bring the files to Earth?" "Because even Earth has ears," Korvax replied. "He didn't trust your government, not after what he saw." 6 hours later, the ship landed on the cracked surface of a SAR KOS-9 dot. The moon was signs of life. Just gray rocks broken. Towers and the remains of what looked like a massive lab buried under the ground. Reyna and Korvax stepped outside. She wore a breathing mask. Korvax didn't need one. His lungs were built for harsh air. "Is this place secure?" she asked. "No, but no one's supposed to know we're here." They moved quickly across the rocks. A small hatch in the ground led them inside the old facility. The halls were dusty and cold. Lights flickered dimly from emergency power cells. Broken doors, rusted panels, and silence welcomed them. "This place was used for something big," Reyna whispered. They reached a data room. Dozens of old computer cores sat stacked against the walls. Korvax pointed to one. That one. The ambassador said it held the first plans. Reyna pulled out a small cube and connected it. "I'm uploading the core to my system. It'll take A few minutes. Suddenly, the base lights turned red. Unauthorized access detected. A robotic voice echoed. Rena froze. Someone's watching us. We must leave now, Korvax growled. Not yet. I'm not leaving without that file. Outside the moon base, a dark ship entered orbit. Inside it were two masked assassins, not alien, but human. Back in the base, the upload finished. Got it, Rena said. Let's move. But just as they turned, boom, an explosion rocked the hall. Dust flew everywhere. They found us. Korvax shouted. Gunfire echoed down the tunnel. Run! Rena and Korvax sprinted through the dark base. Laser blasts flew past them. Hitting walls and metal. They reached the surface and dove into their ship. Rena slammed the controls. Hold on. The engines roared. The scout ship lifted off, just as another blast from above hit the rocks where they had stood seconds ago. In space. The enemy ship followed. They're chasing us, Korvax said. Rena didn't answer. She turned the ship sharply toward a nearby asteroid field. We'll lose them in the rocks. Inside the data core, Rena found the file marked Project Rebirth, Emergency Record, Eyes Only. She played the first log. A hologram of Ambassador Yalin appeared. His voice played softly through the ship. If you're seeing this, I may be dead or close to it. This message is for Agent Rena Moss and any true ally of peace. Project Rebirth is not a shield. It is not defense. It is a weapon. A city killer. Created by rogue Earth generals and hidden far from the public eye. They plan to use it against our enemies. But blame the Varkari. It will look like an alien attack. The public will demand war. Rena stared at the image. Why didn't he tell the Senate? He tried, Korvax said. But every time someone stopped him. Your government has spies in every office. The log continued. Korvax is loyal. I trust him with my life. If I don't survive, follow his lead. He carries a second key. And the map to the launch site. Stop Project Rebirth. Before it's too late. Suddenly, the enemy ship fired again. The scout ship shook hard. Alarms rang. Shields. Down to 30%, Rena said. Korvax stood, wobbling slightly. Let me pilot. You focus on the map. You can fly? Better than most. They switched seats. Korvax's alien fingers danced over the controls. Rena searched the map from the ambassador's file. Here. It's hidden on planet Veralia 5 under a mining station. That's where the weapon is. Coordinates locked, Korvax said. But we must lose our tail first. He dove the ship straight into the asteroid belt. Rocks floated everywhere. Some as small as pebbles, others the size of houses. The enemy ship followed, firing as it weaved between the asteroids. Korvax twisted the ship left, then down, then up through a tight gap. Hold on, he shouted. A large asteroid passed within. Inches of their wing. We're not going to make it. Rena yelled. We will. He rolled the ship behind two large rocks. The enemy ship zipped past, not seeing them. Now, Korvax spun the ship backward and hit the boosters. They escaped the belt and jumped to hyperspace. We're clear, Rena said, breathing hard. For now, Korvax replied. Back on the summit station, General Haven received the report. They escaped. The implant was real. The ambassador was working with the alien. A hooded figure stood in the shadows behind him. Then it's time, the figure said. Launch the weapon. Frame the Varkari. The war must begin. Understood. And Haven, yes? If Rena returns, kill her. Far away, Rena stared out the window of the ship. Do you think we can stop this? She asked. Korvax nodded once. Only if we reach the weapon before they use it. And if we don't? Then Earth burns, and so does the galaxy. Rena looked at the file again. The last line from Yalin played one more time. You were never just an agent. Rena, you were the only One I trusted. Don't fail. She closed her eyes. Then we don't fail. The stars outside shimmered as the scout ship raced through hyperspace. Inside, Raina Moss sat beside the alien warrior Korvax, watching the screen closely. Their destination, Veralia 5, a quiet mining planet on the edge of Earth's territory. But under one of its oldest stations, something deadly was hidden, the weapon called Project Rebirth. A weapon powerful enough to destroy cities, a weapon humans secretly built and planned to use to start a war. Raina checked the ambassadors. File again. A map of the planet appeared, blinking red over an old mining site named Black Hollow Station. We're heading straight there, Raina said. Korvax nodded. The ambassador said that station was shut down years ago, but it was never destroyed. And the weapon is hidden underneath? Yes, waiting for the right moment. Raina frowned. We need proof. We need to show the galaxy the truth before they fire it. But deep inside, she was afraid. Meanwhile, back on the summit station, Ambassador Yalan Ren opened his eyes, slowly, weakly. Machines beeped around him. A nurse gasped and ran to the communication panel. He's awake. He's conscious. Doctors rushed in. One of them leaned over him. Sir, can you hear me? Yalan moved his lips slowly. Raina, Project Rebirth. What did he say? Rebirth. He remembers. The doctors looked at each other. We need to inform the council. But someone else was watching the medical feed. General Haven. He turned to a silent soldier in black armor beside him. He's awake. Kill him. Make it look like heart failure. The soldier nodded and walked away. On Veralia 5, the scout ship landed in a quiet canyon. No patrols, no guards. Just wind and dust. Raina and Korvax stepped out. The air smelled like burned metal and oil. The mining station in front of them was huge. Towers, tunnels, and cranes. But no lights, no sound. Is it abandoned? Raina asked. That's what they want you to believe, Korvax replied. They moved through the station carefully. Doors creaked. Dust floated in the air. Old mining bots lay broken on the ground. Finally, they reached a steel elevator. This goes underground, Korvax said. That's where the weapon is. Raina tapped her gun. Let's go. The elevator rumbled as it moved down into the darkness. At the summit station, the black-armored soldier entered the medical wing. He walked slowly, silently, passing two guards who nodded. Inside, Ambassador Yalan lay asleep again. The soldier approached, pulled out a small injector, invisible to the eye, but deadly. But just as he leaned forward, "Step away from the patient," a voice said behind him. The soldier froze. "Turn around. Hands up." It was a young nurse holding a laser scalpel, shaking, but brave. The soldier didn't move. "This is your last warning." Suddenly, the soldier moved fast, grabbed the nurse, broke the scalpel, and slammed her into the wall. She screamed, but it was too late. More guards rushed in. "Drop your weapon." The soldier tried to escape, but 3 stun bolts hit him. He dropped instantly. The nurse, bleeding from her head, whispered to the lead guard. He was going to kill the ambassador. "Call security. Full lockdown." Now, back on Veralia 5, the elevator stopped. Raina and Korvax stepped out into a massive underground chamber. It was cold, dark, and full of machines. At the center stood a giant black structure. Sharp edges, glowing red panels. A weapon shaped like a long flat blade, taller than a building. Raina stared at it. "That's Project Rebirth?" Korvax nodded. "A single launch could level a continent." They moved closer to the control station. Raina plugged in her data cube. A screen lit up. Access granted. Level OMGA. Dozens of files opened. Weapon specs. Launch codes. Mission plans. Raina scrolled through them quickly. They built this years ago, in secret. It's not just a weapon. It's a lie. They planned to fire it at an alien planet and blamed the Varkari. She found a video message from General Haven. He stood in front of a war map, speaking. To unknown leaders. Once the first shot is fired, we blame the aliens. Earth will rally, war will begin. And we take control of the galaxy. This is treason, Reyna whispered. This is war, Korvax said. Suddenly, the elevator behind them roared to life. Someone's coming, Reyna said. She grabbed the data cube and pulled her weapon. The elevator opened, and 5 soldiers in black armor rushed out. Reyna fired. Korvax lunged forward, grabbing one soldier and slamming him into the wall. Echoed through the chamber. Reyna took cover behind a console. They were waiting for us, she said. No, they followed us, Korvax replied. One soldier aimed at Reyna. She fired first, clean shot to the chest. He dropped. Korvax knocked another off the platform, sending him into the darkness below. We have to destroy the weapon, Reyna shouted. Not yet. We need this proof to show the galaxy. Reyna tossed him the data cube. Get to the ship. I'll hold them off. No, Korvax said. Go. More soldiers came down. Reyna stayed behind cover, laying down fire as Korvax ran toward the exit. He reached the elevator and turned back just in time to see Reyna get hit. Reyna! She was down, breathing hard, wounded in the leg. Korvax ran back, grabbed her, and pulled her behind a wall. Why did you come back? Because I don't leave allies behind. Reyna smiled through the pain. You really are different from the others. So are you. They triggered the self-destruct sequence for the weapon. 10 minutes, the screen said. They limped to the elevator, shooting back at the soldiers. Still firing. One bullet hit Korvax's shoulder. He growled but kept moving. They reached the surface. Their ship waited. They blasted off just as the entire mining station exploded behind them, fire and dust rising into the sky. Back in space, Reyna checked the data cube. It was still intact. We have the proof, she said. Now we tell. The galaxy, Korvax replied. But their journey wasn't over. In the shadows of space, another figure was watching. A tall alien with golden eyes. He spoke into a communicator. They've uncovered the truth. The humans failed. A voice replied. Then it's time. Phase 3 begins. The stars outside looked calm, but inside the scout ship, tension filled the air. Rena Moss sat in the co-pilot's seat, a bloody bandage wrapped around her leg. Beside her, Korvax piloted the ship through deep space, his arms scorched from the last fight. They had just escaped Veralia 5, barely, behind them. Project Rebirth was now gone, destroyed, but they didn't leave empty-handed. The data cube is safe, Reyna said, her voice low but firm. We've got everything, plans, codes, even Heaven's message. Then we must get it to someone who will believe us, Korvax replied, before they find us again. Reyna stared out the window. If we go back to Earth, they'll kill us before we land. Then we need neutral ground. Korvax pulled up a star map. There's one place. A free world, no Earth law, no Varkari law. If we reach it, we can broadcast the truth, Reyna nodded. Set course. But far away, at Earth's military command center, General Haven stood before a dark screen. A shadowy figure spoke from the other side. You failed. They had help, Haven replied. The ambassador's file, the alien. I didn't expect excuses. The screen flickered, revealing a symbol, not human. An alien hand with 6 fingers, holding a burning star. You promised us chaos. Instead, you gave them truth. Give me another chance. I can still silence them. You're no longer in charge. Our own agents will finish it. The screen went black. Haven turned away, his hands shaking. I should have killed her myself, he whispered, back in space. Reyna's ship dropped out of hyperspace. Ahead of them floated a large, glowing station, built into a hollowed-out asteroid. Outpost Verdanus, a free world trading post known for smugglers, bounty hunters, and information brokers. "This place is dangerous," Korvax warned. "So are we," Reyna replied. They landed in a dim hangar filled with strange ships and stranger aliens. Some had 4 arms, others crawled on metal legs. No one smiled here. Reyna kept her hood low. Korvax walked close behind her. They moved through the market level and into a dark hallway that led to a data uplink tower. "We send the files from here," she said. "Once it hits the open net, the whole galaxy will know." But as they reached the door, "Stop right there," a voice growled. 3 armored bounty hunters stepped out of the shadows, guns raised. One of them was a tall human with a scar across his mouth. "Reyna Moss, and the traitor alien. Big price on both of your heads." Korvax stepped forward. "You don't want this fight." "Wrong answer." Gunfire exploded through the hall. Reyna dove to the left, firing as she rolled. Korvax charged forward, using a steel pipe as a weapon, slamming one bounty hunter against the wall. The second bounty shot twice. Both blasts missed. Reyna shot back, one clean hit to the leg. He screamed and dropped, but the last one grabbed Reyna from behind, holding a knife to her neck. "Drop it, alien, or she dies." Korvax froze. Reyna smirked. "Bad move." She elbowed the hunter hard and headbutted him. He stumbled. Korvax finished it with a punch that sent him flying. They stood in the silence, breathing hard. "They're hunting us everywhere," Reyna said. "Someone wants us dead, badly." They finally reached the uplink tower. Inside was an old alien broker, half machine, half flesh. "Uploading files like these will bring war," the broker said with a robotic hiss. "Good," Reyna replied, "because the war has already started. People just don't know it yet." She plugged in the cube. The screen lit up, transmitting to Galactic Public Net. 10%, 20%. Suddenly, the lights shut off. "No," Reyna whispered. A cold voice echoed through the speakers. "You cannot run. You cannot hide." The screen showed a live image. A tall alien with golden eyes, the same one who had spoken to heaven. "I am Vale of the Alari Dominion. You have seen too much. This truth belongs to no one." "Who are you?" Reyna asked. "The true enemy, the one behind both sides. Earth and Varkari, just pawns in our game." "Why?" she shouted. "To burn the old galaxy and build a new one." Suddenly, the uplink exploded. The files vanished. The cube melted. "Transmission failed," the broker said, pulling away. Reyna fell to her knees. "No, that was our only copy." Korvax put his hand on her shoulder. "No, it wasn't." He pulled out a second cube, hidden in his armor. "You didn't trust me?" Reyna asked. "I didn't trust your world." They left the tower and ran back to the ship, but bounty hunters were already waiting. A battle began in the hangar. Lasers, smoke, fire. Korvax shielded Reyna as she ran toward the ship. "Get inside," he shouted. She jumped in and powered it up. Korvax fought off 2 hunters before leaping aboard. "We're taking off." The ship blasted out of the station, engines roaring. Behind them, a fleet of dark ships gave chase. "We're outnumbered," Reyna yelled. "Then we run." They jumped to hyperspace, just before missiles hit their last position. Back on the summit station, the ambassador lay in a chair, recovering. A general stood beside him. "Sir, the council needs your word. Is it true?" "Yes," Yalan said, his voice still weak. "Haven lead. Rebirth was real. And someone else, something worse, is behind it." "Who?" "I don't know, but they're not human." Far across space, in a dark chamber, Vale spoke to his followers. "They failed to send the truth, but their hope lives." "Should we destroy them?" one follower asked. "No, let them run. Let them gather allies. When they feel safe, then we strike." His golden eyes glowed brighter. "The galaxy. will not see the knife until it's already in their back. Back on the ship, Reyna looked at the second cube. Where do we go now? Korvax checked the map. To someone powerful. Someone who can speak for all races. Reyna raised an eyebrow. Who? Korvax said only one word, my mother. The stars ahead burned red. Reyna Moss sat in the scout ship's cockpit, still nursing her wounded leg. Korvax stood beside her, watching the star map. Is this real? Reyna asked. Your mother is a leader? Korvax nodded. Not just a leader. She is High Warden Circula, ruler of the Varkari Prime Circle. Reyna blinked. That's like your president? No, Korvax said. She's more powerful. She can end a war with one word. Or start one. Reyna leaned back in her chair. Great. So we're going to your mom to tell her her own people were almost framed for starting a galactic war? Yes, she smirked. This should be fun. Their ship exited hyperspace above Varkari Prime, a massive green and blue world covered in mountain ranges, glowing cities, and deep oceans. Orbiting it was a ring-shaped station with huge claws pointed outward like a crown dot as they approached. Dozens of warships turned to face them. Unregistered vessel, came a deep voice over the comm. Identify or be destroyed. Korvax stepped forward. This is Korvax of Clan Shartal. Code Sigma 9. I request immediate audience with High Warden Circala. There was a pause, then code confirmed. Proceed. The warships pulled back. Reyna let out a slow breath. You weren't lying. Korvax gave a slight smile. We don't lie. We strike. Inside the warden's hall, Reyna followed Korvax through a huge chamber filled with banners, fire pits, and guards in black and silver armor. The air smelled. Like spice and metal. At the end of the hall stood a tall figure on a raised platform. Her armor was carved with symbols. Her eyes burned like red suns. High Warden Circala. She stepped down and hugged Korvax tightly. My son, I heard rumors of your arrest. The rumors were true, Korvax said. And yet, here you are, with a human. Her eyes locked on Reyna. Strange company for my son. Reyna stood tall. I'm Agent Reyna Moss, and I'm not your enemy. Circala raised an eyebrow. That remains to be seen. Korvax stepped forward. Mother, we bring truth, not war. He placed the data cube in her hands. An hour later, Circala sat in a private chamber with her advisors. The hologram of Ambassador Yalin played in front of them. Project Rebirth. Created to start war. Someone is planning to destroy the galaxy's peace. Then Haven's voice appeared. We blame the aliens. Earth will rise. When it ended, the room was silent. Circala spoke first. This is worse than I imagined. And this rebirth weapon? Destroyed, Reyna said. We stopped it. But the one behind it, this alien veil, he's still out. There. Yes, Korvax said. He's the real threat. Circala stood. Then we must act, but we cannot go alone. The galaxy will call this a Varkari lie. We need allies. Reyna stepped forward. Ambassador Yalin is alive. He can confirm everything. Circala nodded. Then you will take this data to him. And I will prepare our fleets. Just in case the Alari return, Reyna frowned. You believe this veil is Alari? Yes, Circala said. A race we thought extinct, burned out 100 years ago. But their minds were like poison, always working in shadows. Korvax looked at his mother. They are not extinct. They've been hiding, waiting. As Reyna and Korvax prepared to leave, a young Varkari warrior approached them. Reyna Moss, he said with respect. The warden has ordered 2 ships to escort you. Thanks, she said. I have a feeling we'll need them. Korvax climbed into the pilot seat of their scout ship. Next stop, the summit. Station. Let's bring the truth home, Reyna replied. But they weren't alone. Far away, in a hidden part of the galaxy, Vale stood in a dark temple carved from black crystal. Ilari warriors knelt before him. "The human and the Valkyrie move quickly," said one. "Let them," Vale replied. "The truth they carry means nothing if they die in space." He turned to a shadowed figure behind him. "Send the hunters, kill the human. Bring me the alien, alive." As Reyna's ship passed through the Soul Gate and neared the summit station, 2 warships followed behind, Valkyrie vessels shaped like blades. Reyna stared at the station through the window. "We made it," she said softly. "Not yet." Korvax warned. Suddenly alarms blared. "Incoming fire." 3 ships uncloaked, dark, sleek, and shaped like insects. They attacked fast, laser beams tearing through one Valkyrie escort. It exploded into fire. "One down," Reyna shouted. "We're next." Korvax turned the ship sharply. "Hold on." They dove under the station's outer ring. Enemy ships chased them closely. "The second escort is trying to draw them off," Reyna said. "Too many. We must land now." Korvax spun the ship and flew straight toward the summit's docking bay. But one enemy ship followed. "They're not trying to destroy us," Reyna realized. "They want to board us. Then they die here." Korvax cut the engine suddenly. The ship stopped mid-air. The enemy ship shot past them. Reyna fired the railgun. Boom! The enemy ship exploded in a burst of red flame. "Nice shot," Korvax said. "I've had practice," she replied. They landed hard inside the summit. Station. Guards ran to surround them. "Don't shoot," Reyna shouted. "We have the truth." She raised the data cube. An hour later, Reyna stood before the Galactic Council. The surviving ambassador, Yalin Ren, sat beside her, pale but strong. She played the message. Once again, the galaxy heard Haven's words. "We blame the aliens. Earth will rise," whispers filled the chamber. "This is real? Earth planned a false flag? The Ilari, still alive?" General Haven wasn't present. He had disappeared, vanished without a trace. Yalin stood slowly. "Members of the Council, I was stabbed for this truth. I almost died for it. But it is real. And it is worse than war. We were being controlled by a race that hides in the dark." He pointed at the image of Vale. "This is the enemy. Not the Valkyrie, not humans, not each other." The room went silent. Then the Korean representative, floating beside his jellyfish guards, spoke. "If this is true, then peace must hold, or we all fall." Reyna stepped forward. "Then we need to act, together, before the Ilari strike again." Far away, Vale sat in his dark temple, watching the broadcast. He smiled. "They speak of unity, but unity breaks under fire." He turned to his soldiers. "Begin the next phase. Bring me the real weapon." A door opened. Inside was something glowing, something massive, pulsing like a living heart. "Let's remind the galaxy why they feared us." The Galactic Council chamber was still quiet after Ambassador Jalen's speech. The truth about the Ilari Project Rebirth and the hidden enemies spread like wildfire. Reyna Moss stood beside Korvax, feeling the weight of the galaxy's eyes on them. "We must prepare," Sakala said firmly. "The Ilari are dangerous. We cannot wait for them to strike." "But how do we fight an enemy we cannot see?" asked a representative from the Korean world. Korvax answered. "We hunt them. In the shadows, we expose their spies. And we unite every world that wants peace." Reyna pulled out the second data cube, the one Vale had tried to stop them from sending. "This contains the location of the Ilari temple and their weapon. We have to destroy it." Sakala nodded. "Then it is decided. We launch a joint fleet to the Ilari stronghold." Far from the council, Vale stood before his Ilari warriors. "They believe they have a plan," he said coldly. "But their final move will be their last." He gestured to a hidden chamber. The massive weapon hummed. It was more terrifying than Project Rebirth. A living machine, part organic, part metal, built to consume entire planets. This is the heart of oblivion, Vale said. When it awakens, it will burn the stars themselves. Back on Varkari Prime, Reyna trained with Korvax and the High Warden's guards. She learned the ways of the Varkari, their strength, speed, and sharp minds. Korvax watched her progress proudly. You are stronger than you think. I have to be, Reyna said. If the Ilari win, nothing will be left. The fleet gathered at the edge of the Ilari system. Serkala commanded from the flagship, a huge warship shaped like a crescent moon. Reyna sat beside her, the data cubes in her hands. Suddenly, alarms rang. Enemy ships approaching. Vale's fleet appeared, sleek, fast, and deadly. The battle began. Lasers cut through the blackness of space. Reyna piloted a fighter, dodging blasts and firing back. Korvax fought close with his ship, targeting Ilari warships. The battle was brutal. Explosions lit the darkness. Inside the Ilari temple, a team led by Reyna and Korvax landed. They moved through corridors filled with shadows and whispers. They reached the heart of oblivion. Reyna placed a device on the machine, a bomb designed to destroy it. Suddenly, Vale appeared. You cannot stop what has already begun, he said. Korvax stepped forward. We will stop you. A fierce fight broke out. Reyna activated the bomb. Run! They escaped as the heart of oblivion exploded in a blast of light. Back at the fleet, the Ilari retreated. Serkala spoke to the council. Today, we showed that peace is stronger than fear. Reyna smiled. This is only the beginning. The war was over, but the galaxy was not quiet. Reyna Moss stood alone on the edge of the Varkari capital platform, looking up at the stars. Her body still ached from the final battle. Her mind carried the weight of everything she had seen. The Ilari's great weapon, the heart of oblivion, was gone. Destroyed. Vale, the enemy who moved in the shadows, had vanished in the final explosion. His body was never found, but Reyna knew what that meant. He's not dead, she whispered. Not yet. Behind her, Korvax approached. His armor was scratched, one arm in a sling, but his steps were strong. You're not sleeping, he said. I haven't slept well in days, she replied. They both stood in silence, watching as the Varkari sky turned gold with sunrise. The council is meeting again today, Korvax said. They want to name heroes. Reyna smiled a little. We didn't fight for medals. No, Korvax said. We fought for something harder to win. Trust. The Galactic Council chamber was full again. Leaders from every world, humans, Varkari, Korean, and others had come together. High Warden Serkala stood in the center. Her voice echoed through the chamber. Today we honor those who stopped a false war, destroyed a secret weapon, and exposed the Ilari threat. She looked at Reyna and Korvax. They were enemies, then allies. Now they are the future. Applause filled the chamber, but Reyna felt no pride, only purpose. This isn't the end, she said to Korvax. This is only the beginning. Later, in a private meeting, Ambassador Yalan Ren met with Reyna. He looked older now, tired but wise. I failed to stop Project Rebirth, he said. But you changed everything. We all did, Reyna said. He handed her a sealed envelope. Inside is your reinstatement as a Galactic Security Commander. Reyna held the letter, then slowly set it aside. I'm not going back to my old life, she said. Then what will you do? She turned to Korvax, who waited nearby. Build something better. Weeks passed. The galaxy slowly healed. Trust was hard to rebuild, but not impossible. Earth admitted its crimes. Several high-ranking officers were arrested, and secret programs shut down. The Varkari sent ships to help human worlds that had suffered during the attacks. The Council passed a new law, the Unity Accord, making it illegal for any world to build superweapons in secret. And somewhere in the shadows, Alari spies were hunted. One by one. Reyna and Korvax traveled from world to world, speaking with soldiers, leaders, and citizens. They didn't give speeches. They listened. They told the truth. They reminded people why war should never be a lie. On a quiet farming planet, a child asked Reyna, "Are the monsters gone?" Reyna knelt down and smiled softly. "No, but we're not afraid of them anymore." "Why?" "Because now we know how to fight together." The child smiled back. "You're like a space knight," Reyna laughed. "Maybe I am." One evening, as they prepared to leave another system, Korvax joined her on the ship's deck. He handed her a small object, a piece of his broken armor. "What's this for?" she asked. "To remember." "Remember what?" "That even warriors can change." She looked down at the metal shard. It was scratched, burned, but strong, like them. But peace is never simple. One day, deep in space, they found a ship, floating with no power. Inside, they discovered an Alari survivor, weak, injured, and terrified. "I surrender," the Alari whispered. "Please, listen." Reyna and Korvax brought him aboard and treated his wounds. When the Alari woke, he told them the truth. Vale was not alone. He was only one voice in a greater silence. There are others, far away, waiting. "Where?" Reyna asked. "Beyond the black stars, worlds untouched by war. They have built something worse than the heart of oblivion." "What do they want?" Korvax asked. "To finish what Vale started." The galaxy wasn't safe yet, but it was ready. Reyna sent a report to the council. "We have confirmation. Another Alari threat is rising beyond the known systems. We must prepare, not with fear, not with lies, but with unity." The council agreed. And so a new plan was born. Not a weapon, not a war, but an alliance, stronger than before. The Unity Fleet, a team of ships, one from each major world. Led by Commander Reyna Moss and Warden Korvax, they were not just soldiers now. They were guardians. Their job was not to fight enemies, but to stop wars before they started. On the day they launched, people across the galaxy watched the ceremony. Reyna stood on the main deck of the Unity starship, now painted with the symbol of peace, a white circle between a human hand and a Vorkari claw. She looked out at the stars. "Are you ready?" Korvax asked beside her. "Always," she said. "Where to?" Reyna smiled. "Where the shadows are darkest." And with that, the ship lifted from orbit. The stars opened before them, a new path, a new future, a new dawn, the end.